All right, so when I first started making beats in I believe '04, '05, so I can't believe it's been 20 years since I started making beats or music production. But it used to be a point where I didn't really know I didn't even know about music production. I know music over time has been created, but I always thought the artists had a lot of input or they created the songs themselves. And it wasn't until I saw the Diary of Kanye West that I was aware that you can produce songs yourself. You can hook up a beat machine and you can connect it to a keyboard. So at this time, I did play piano, I played drums, and I was so captivated by this new thing I found, music production, and it really blew my mind. Watching the Diary of Kanye West, I never forget it. Watching that episode when he was up there, I believe he was making a beat for one of the Chicago artists. I think his name Bumpy J or something like that. I know I might be wrong, but leave a comment. Leave the name of the artist in the comment section. But anyways, he was on Diary of Kanye. Diary of Kanye West on MTV, and it really blew my mind. You know, just the way Kanye West really manipulates samples, the chipmunk sound. He really made that a huge thing as far as production and sampling is concerned. And College Dropout dropped, just an incredible, body of work. College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808 and Heartbreak, 808s and Heartbreak. And I think around 808s and Heartbreak is, around the time I really, after that, I kind of stopped being a fan of Kanye West because, of course, his mom died. I think that was a big toll on him. And there's a lot of things, surrounding that controversy. And even Kanye talked about it himself in a recent interview or I should say post or clip. And so that death is very interesting. But recently, he just really is going too far as his antics. I think he just really needs help. And I hate to say this, but it's like I don't really want to be a fan of his anymore as far as Kanye West is concerned, because it's just kind of disturbing the way he has kind of craved for attention. Since beginning, Kanye has, everybody knows Kanye. He's always been a person who spoke his mind. Uh, he seems like he's always craved a certain type or amount of attention as far as publicity is concerned. And I think he had to come to a point where it's new artists, it's new producers that will come along the way. I think he couldn't handle that as well. That other producers, other rappers would come up after him and maybe take his spot for a while. And he didn't recognize, and I guess having children, having a family, getting older, that these things will happen. And I feel like especially the death of his mother, uh I guess he feels guilty in a way, and I don't want to get into those details, but it's like now I just not really a huge fan of Kanye right now because uh it's just the things he did. It's very disrespectful. Even if even if Jay Z has done you wrong, even if him being with Beyonce, maybe things has changed. That's life. That's part of life. You're not getting as much shine as you used to. That's a part of life. Your one part of your life you may be up here, but sometimes you can go down. And I think he has gotten so much wealth, so much money. Most times when people get a lot of money and they have problems in the first place, those problems become even bigger. You know, we think about DMX, we think about Whitney Houston, think about Bobby Brown, we think about so many celebrities that fell to their addictions, you know, as they got, you know, even more popular and more rich. They you know, they feel like they're unstoppable. You know, even Diddy even Diddy in this recent time, you know, being in jail, he thought he was unstoppable. He was invincible, that no one can touch him, untouchable. But he found out quick, you know, it can change, right? You know, just like that, it can change so quick. And so, you know, we just got to, uh, you know, just kind of, I wouldn't say, we should pray for Ye, that he, you know, that he really changed and really realize what he's done. You know, get some mental help. You know, he really needs some mental help, because I think he's just craving for a lot of attention, especially when he's saying his own kids. He says his own kids is against him. But, you know, Kim Kardashian, she has a voice as well. As far as their children, you know, they want to listen to their mom as well. You know, I know they respect their mom as well, as far as, you know, her being their mom. And so Kanye got to respect that as well. You know, I feel like Kanye, he always wants to have his way. But I think the main thing, he's craving for attention. I feel like he's jealous of certain things. You know, Kendrick Lamar this is his time. This is Kendrick's time, and so I think just Kanye just got to deal with that. You know, that this is Kendrick Lamar's time. I just wish we had the old Ye back. You know, just, you know, making beats, making classic songs, going back to the rap, going back to the concepts. But I feel like he's getting away from that as well. He's getting away from, you know, concept albums. You know, not saying that, you know, he got to be exactly the way he used to be, but he just got to get back to being creative, getting back to who he really is. Like Diddy said, you know, get back to, don't worry about how people treated you. You know, just create great music, and you know, people will see it along the way. And so I just want to do this video because I've always been a huge Kanye West fan, but now I'm starting not to be a huge, you know, Kanye West fan. I haven't been a huge fan since, you know, after or during Dark Twisted Fantasy. I thought that was a very very dark album. I wasn't really a fan of that album. I saw how that album really affected people I knew that had mental problems, and so I never was a real big fan of Dark Twisted Fantasy album, because I just saw, you know, demonic stuff going, you know, kind of getting over Kanye during that time. And so again, appreciate y'all for watching. Excuse me. Just wanted to say my thoughts, you know, as far as Kanye West is concerned. Again, appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time. All right. Peace.